Welcome to the What's Working podcast, the podcast where we ask, what's working? Hey everybody, welcome to the What's Working podcast. I'm Jimmy Nash, and I'm thrilled to have in the studio today Ben Herbert, founder of LANDE, an award-winning Columbus, Ohio digital marketing agency. Ben, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, anytime, Jimmy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit how you got into marketing, how you got into starting LANDE. Let me know a little bit about you.
Yeah. And I know you also own a marketing agency too, so it'll be fun to like bounce some ideas back and forth because it sounds like we kind of come from two different backgrounds. You kind of come more from the creative. I'm more from the technical side. So I actually got into digital marketing. I started off as a web developer. So I developed proprietary CMSs for school districts. And then I found, which you're probably familiar with, it's called WordPress. And I fell in love with it. And I started making websites for a lot of like government run agencies, like educational service centers. And I was doing that in my early 20s, back in like 2013, 2014. And I then took a job at a marketing agency actually here in Columbus, Ohio. And I was working with a guy named John, and he was a designer. And he asked me like, hey, like you can develop, I can design. Do you want to go start our own thing? So we kind of just went off and started our own thing. I bought him out of it eventually. But like, yeah, we kind of approached digital marketing more from a tech background. And it's just kind of, a lot of my clients I had and websites I built, we just kind of like, people just started asking me, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? And I was pretty upfront with them. I was like, hey, I've never done this before. So like, bear with me, but I'm going to give you a really cheap rate. And it's kind of just evolved from there. And, now we got a team of 12 people and we've just been kind of growing since then. And I've hired specialists in there. So,
well, that's cool. Well, I think once you and the client has trust in you, like they don't want to have to go out and shop for 4 different companies to do something. So
yeah, I feel like once you're in with the website, then you're usually the first point of contact. I don't know if you've ever had that experience or not. Like if you're hosting their website or managing their website, I feel like you're the go-to person.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's how it's been for me at least.
Well, that's kind of because it's funny because I started when I was 17, my family started a charity in Houston and we had no money for anything. So I had to learn to do everything. I had to learn to build the website. I had to learn to shoot and edit video, audio, everything. So it's funny, we both started building websites, but the technology then compared to now is crazy, but still WordPress. It's funny when you said I fell in love with WordPress. That sounds like I don't know, that's a book, the WordPress, a love story.
What'd you build the first website on for their charity?
Oh, I built it just getting my feet wet. I found like some template on Macromedia Dreamweaver.
Nice.
So Macromedia, which I think got sold to Adobe, if I'm not mistaken, like it doesn't exist anymore. But it was like the first one that I recall that actually had a visual template. So you could at least visualize it within the program itself. And so it was still, you enter one wrong thing and suddenly everything goes away. And I'm like, oh God, what did I do?
Yeah. I always forget about Dreamweaver. And then like right when you brought it up, I remembered like I took a web class in high school and that's literally what we made the whole website on was Dreamweaver. It was just all like straight HTML and CSS. And I was in charge of the page called The Basement. And that was our page. And we had like the most traffic. Like the web designer always told me in class, like, hey, like this is, for some reason people go to the website and then they go straight to your basement page. Like, what are you posting on there? And I would just like post like all the gossip, but I would like put it in like a secret way. So like people would get the jokes and it was fun. But yeah, I remember I was like the Dreamweaver guy. Everyone was always asking me how to update this and update that. So yeah, that's cool.
Well, it was funny because like I said, getting started, I had to build all this stuff for our charity. And I was going to University of Houston at the time. My family's all from Texas, and
Yeah.
they had like all these student specials because the software was really expensive back then compared to now. They didn't have the monthly subscription you could do, and it was like a $3,000 package I got for $250 as a student. So
Yeah.
I had the whole suite, and that's where I started. Little did I know that was my start to a marketing journey, and then I went to school for marketing at University of Houston.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool. Yeah, and then the video was probably a pain too because you were probably had the mini DV tapes and
oh yeah,
everything.
I,
Yeah.
I was excited when we got the Canon XL2. That was still SD. It wasn't quite HD yet,
Yeah.
but it was at least not 800 pounds, and
Yeah.
and you could hook it directly into the computer to offload footage. That
Yeah.
like, you didn't have to run the player in something else. But yeah, compared to now, and it's like things I can just shoot on my iPhone are
I
like 10 times better than it was.
Yeah, sometimes when I hear like video guys who I work with complain about the process, I'm like, you guys have no clue.
Yeah,
Like, because I grew up skateboarding, so like we would just
yeah.
film. My dream was to go to Full Sail University, and I wanted to be like in the video space and everything, but
Mhm.
I kind of got away from that. But yeah, we were filming on like VX. We had a VX 1000, a VX 2100 for like low light, and we all like pulled our money together to like buy the cameras together, like our whole skate group, and we
Yeah.
started making some videos. We're actually starting to break into the video space more with my agency, and
Oh, cool.
it's like reigniting that passion that I used to have for it too.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think anybody now will know the pain of just having to offload footage in real time. You can't,
Yes.
like you can't just air like you're like, okay, you've got an hour's worth of footage. You're sitting there for an hour waiting for it to
Yeah, we just sit in my basement. We just like throw a wall ball at the wall, just waiting for the skate footage to ingest and everything. We used to do these Sunday sesh videos where we'd go out, skateboard in the morning, film as much footage as we can, and then make an edit and have it live by the end of the day. And it took literally all day, but it was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me a little, how long ago did you start Land?
Um, I think we incorporated in like 2016.
Okay.
But we didn't really like, it was just more like side cash. Like we had John and I had like full-time jobs. In 2021 is when I really took it serious, when I like quit my job and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go off and I'm just going to go all in on this, because I worked like a traveling technical sales job and I was a director of marketing for a company called Final Forms. And then I quit that job, and I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and go full all in 2021 with LANDE was when I started. Like I was a big runner in my 20s. I call it my dirtbag freelancer days. Just get a project in, get enough to live off of, and then as I got older, I was like, okay, I should probably start taking this more serious and start turning this into a business, which it is now. But yeah,
I think a lot of people start that way though. It's like, okay, what do I need to make it? And then what? And then I want to live my life and go here and do this and that. And then you're like, oh, I could probably do more if I settled a little bit.
yeah,
Made this a business.
yeah.
Well, I'm curious, so much has changed. I ask everybody this because I like getting their thoughts in marketing and everything, especially the last 2 years with AI, new technology. Like what's changed for you just even since 2021 with LANDE?
So we're like, it's weird to say, but not much has changed for us. We're more efficient at our job with our AI, but like we just take more of a technical approach and we try and stay in industries that we know will convert well, like home services, law firms, medical. Pretty much those are like the top three, just because since I'm more from a technical background, we just always thrive in Google Ads and our attribution and our data tracking. So like I always see like our ideal clientele is like someone who's worked with an agency for a while and created all the creative, the brand, and like really made them look pretty, but they don't have like their team doesn't have the technical expertise. And they're like, hey, like, we're not getting results and we don't know how to prove it. And that's kind of like where my agency comes in. Like we can do the graphic design, we can create the video. We're really creative. We create beautiful websites and everything. just because I've been making them for 15 years now. So it's like they have to be good if you're doing something that long.
Mm.
But a lot what has helped us is like with our research. Whenever we focus a lot on Google Ads and SEO and like really sound website development, a lot is like with our research. Like if we're doing research and we have a lot of data, putting it into the AI, like summarizing it for us, giving us, managing the data, making sure we're able to read it easily. That's usually like where we've seen the biggest difference is like the efficiency working with it. We've not with clients, but we are doing like some test projects with like AI SEO, like having the AI write all of our content.
Right.
But it's so hard. Like when you have some clients, paying you $10,000 a month, and you're like, okay, should I write this blog post or should I write these location pages in AI or should I just continue doing what I'm doing that I know that's working? So I don't want to take a risk with that. So like kind of with like, we have like a small business marketing package partner where you get a free website and everything. Well, it's not free, you pay for it, but it's included in the monthly package.
Right.
But we're letting them know like, hey, like we're able to get this cost down for you because we're using a templated website, but we're also leveraging AI to write all your content. And we just need you to fill out this form so we get some idea with you so we can build the model. So where we're kind of seeing is we're able to get like a lower price point for, those smaller businesses that like, maybe those single person shops of tax accountants or like the small shops, single law firms, or it's just like, hey, it's just me. Like, I don't need something extravagant, but it's like, hey, we can build you a website. We can put it together really quick without, writing it by hand or human written content. We
Right.
obviously go over it, but you kind of get the idea. What about you?
You do have to read every word.
Yeah.
Well, we've definitely, I think research is one of the biggest things. I mean, once again, you've got to double check it. It's good to use more than one model to do your searching too. Um,
Those M dashes.
Somebody said it like if there was a parody sketch or something about an event that happened and it said, George Washington went to space in 1800, or something, like it'll come back, George Washington went to, and it doesn't always know the difference between, parody or real content. But I definitely think for that, the research is definitely very valuable. Of course, the automations, we've already had automations for years, but AI can certainly make it easier for certain automated tasks.
Yeah. What do you normally use? We're Zapier pros. We love Zapier.
Zapier is definitely very handy for that. We've also, been looking more at like incorporating AI into email campaigns just for some of the A/B testing is very effective with that, and it makes recommendations. And still, I find a lot of the copy, like if it recommends copy changes, you've got to be very careful still what it tells you, because like it doesn't, like it is making leaps and bounds in understanding. Like if you tell it all about a company, it definitely is learning, but it's just like at the end of the day, you've got to read every word. And sometimes it's more work to just depending on it. It's like to make sure, oh my gosh, I'd rather start from scratch, sometimes starting the email, than have to look back and say, oh my gosh, I missed this word. I can't believe it put that word in there.
One thing, what has really been helping us out a lot with, and we use Asana for our project management tool, but like telling them like your current process and like how you do things and like saying like, hey, can we make this more efficient, or do you have any suggestions? I've noticed a lot. I haven't implemented anything yet, but like I'm rebuilding a lot of like our tools in Asana to slowly roll out with our team. But I've noticed like the AI, I'm using ChatGPT for this, has given me like great feedback on like, hey, you should do it this way, or have you ever thought about doing it this way, or you should run these filters. And I'm like, oh, these are good ideas. Like the creativity behind the tech with the AI has really been helpful. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't know if you've tried any of that, but like from an operations side, it's been super helpful.
We haven't. I mean, it's definitely something we're looking into, because I know for operational efficiency, it is drawing on, millions of pages of text of businesses that and how they run. And so it can check your business and how you run versus all these successful companies. And that is a value. That's something that it would take you probably an entire lifetime to study every single thing that it can study in a few seconds to see, okay, what's the most efficient way to do this? So I think that's probably one of the best uses for AI right now, just to double check, hey, can I do this more efficiently? That's just something I think we as in the agency spaces, we have to ask ourselves, is there something we should be using because we don't want to, fall behind someone else who is using it,
Yeah, we were we're getting smoked with support tickets. We just have so many coming in because we host so many websites. And I was like, I don't feel like thinking right now. So I just like typed it into AI. I was like, hey man, here's my issue. Like, how do I solve this? And it suggested Freshdesk. And I was like, oh, I was like a support ticketing software. And I was like, that's not a bad idea. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started asking, I was like, hey, like, I don't want to like make my clients feel like they're just talking to a support person and everything. And they like explain how to slowly roll it out. And then my brother's like a big network engineer. He's cybersecurity for banks and for a bank, small local bank in Cleveland. But he was like, oh yeah, we use Freshdesk. And he actually just hopped in and like set up our whole portal. And he's like, just changed, like, we use support at his bank's name.com. But we just changed it to like, we just put one of our assistants on there, and her name's Denise, and she just actually manages a whole portal for us now. And, when a ticket comes in, like she gets it assigned to the right person and Asana and everything. Because before we were just kind of doing it pretty antiquated, but we really weren't worried about it because we weren't getting that many. We're getting support requests, but it was easy to manage it from our inbox. But now since, we're over like, I think we're like at 85 websites now. So it's just a lot to host, and yeah, so it's just it's a lot coming in. And I was like, and I felt bad for some of my clients, and just letting out other business owners, we're all human here. We all make mistakes. And I was like, man, some of these response times are creeping up to like 48 hours. And I was like, this is not good. Like, we need to be within the 24-hour window. So that's what it's really helped. But sometimes the easiest answers, sometimes you think problems are super complex and they're hard to solve, but like the AI just helped me solve it right away, which I probably could have thought of on my own, but still, I'm just trying to give a use case there.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your honesty on that, talking about, hey, this was creeping up and we're using that helped you bring that time down because, not everybody would admit to that. They just be like, oh, yeah, we always stay within the 24. So but that's a lot of websites. And I mean, for anything short of like 100 employees, that's, I think, a lot so that's awesome that you're finding ways to use that.
I mean, I like to, I always admit my faults to the client if something happens, because I like to show them that we're actively making strides to improve it. If something happens, like, hey, this is what we've done to improve it, apologize about that, or thank you for being patient. Because I mean, you manage people. If they just told you all the time, like, I'll do this every single time, or like they just say like they never own up to their mistakes, and you're like, are they really learning though? So yeah.
So talking about on the SEO and the Google ads, because I've gotten some mixed feedback on this. How is the AI overview affecting like placement for your different clients? Because I know now you've got the AI overview, then the sponsored, and then the organic. Are you seeing a lot of changes for different clients on where they're placed, or if they come up in the overview?
So I'm sure people who like write about blogs or do like, informational stuff are getting crushed. I've always focused on bottom of the funnel marketing. Like, what is a direct value, the ROI I can bring with my clients? So if anything, it's actually helped us, especially with some of our clients out in the DMV area. They're showing up, they're getting a ton of leads through AI. People who are looking for like a decking company or a roofing company, they're showing up in these AI overviews, these algorithms, the large language models. And we see the attribution models coming through. We see like Search GPT come through, and then that lead gets appended. We track it through call tracking, through the form submissions, and it brings that contact into their CRM, whether it's Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, or you name it. There's a million out there. Go high level, but then it that lead gets brought through the whole pipeline, and then when it gets closed, we can pull a report for our client saying, hey, this is how many clients you brought through AI, and this is what you generated in revenue, and this is what you're paying us for a management fee for SEO. So this is your ROAS, your return on ad spend. And clients love that. It's super sticky. We're integrated into their systems with it, but it's honestly really helped us. But like I said, it's helped us because we just focus on, like, we're all bottom of the funnel marketing. We really focus on, if someone's looking for a deck builders near me, like, their obvious intent is they're looking for a company to get a deck, and we're just trying to give these companies as many at bats as possible. That's what I always tell our clients or potential leads. Like, if you're not doing this right now, you're not getting any at bats. So we give them an at bat, and that's kind of what it's helped us with. So I know, like, some other people I've heard, it's their organic traffic's getting crushed.
Yeah, I've definitely talked to a few people who are like, we're having to work a lot harder to get them seen. I think, like you said, that makes a lot of sense to me that if I'm looking for, like here in St. Pete, we have a lot of home builders and there's a lot of construction going on. So I can imagine, okay, I'm going to get 5 top leads if there are, home builders near me or renovators, but there are definitely some companies that are struggling, and I'm not sure which ones are struggling the most. Probably, like you said, blog posts, just trying to create content. They're probably getting hammered.
I think I'm just happy. Like, I didn't like let the AI phase me, and like I have my whole writing team, and like Megan leads it, and that's the whole writing team, and we just always stuck to our guns. Like, let's just keep on doing the keyword research. Let's make the SEO outlines, and then we're going to just write the content by human. We're not going to use any AI to speed it up, and we're just going to continue doing what we're doing. And it is a ton of work. Like, we just launched this website in Indiana, and it was like 44 pages long, and it's just like a ton, but we're still going to keep on releasing more and more location pages just so we don't chew up our whole index budget from Google. But like, since we just stuck to that model, it's worked really well, and it's helped out a ton. But my backlink strategy has always been around PR, and Chris, he does it for me. He's just a boss at it. He's so good. And our backlink strategy has been around PR, getting earned media. So talking to news outlets, like, back and forth, real human interaction, not trying to get cheap backlinks. I mean, we build our directories and everything for our clients, but like, if we get like 2 to 3 placements a year for our client that are high quality, like that's great. Like, we're super happy. And I think that's what has helped us a ton. Maybe I'm giving away too many secrets right now, but I don't know. And to me, it's just, it comes down to hard work. And if people want to work, they can get those results.
Well, I think, people can find out the secret, but are they going to be able to implement it on their own? Like, if somebody owns a business and they're watching this, they're not going to be like, oh, that's all I need to do, and I'll just go run to it all.
Yeah. I didn't understand the work. Like, I understood backlinks, but like, when I brought on Chris and he explained to me, I just brought him in as like a journalist, and he like explained to me what he did, and I was like, dude, you're just creating backlinks right now. I was like, that's all you're doing. I was like, and he's like, oh yeah, I guess you are right. And yeah, we just ran with it, and it's worked really well.
Well, I think that, talking about the earned media and, good PR is going to be more important than ever, because people don't know what's real with AI anymore. So if you're featured on a trusted site, blog that has X amount of people who view it every week, like that's huge now. I think it always was, but I think that's going to be a real qualifier for companies.
Yeah. But it's a whole ecosystem. Like, we work with a PR firm here, and like, you can just do PR, but if your site isn't set up correctly, it's still like, you still run into issues. It's crazy. It's just like, technology is so unforgiving. It's like, like you can, I guess it's like baking. If you forget like an ingredient, I'm not a baker though, but like, if you forget an ingredient, like, everything turn sideways. I feel like that's how it is with technology.
Definitely. And do you still primarily use WordPress?
Yeah, I mean, I can work in any CMS just because I have a ASP.NET, C# background. I did a little Ruby on Rails. But yeah, we do two builds. We're either just depending on the client and their needs, but I'll do straight Elementor builds, but my team can handle that, or I'll do. Made this a while ago, and it still is amazing. But I have this custom theme I built in WordPress. It's like my own custom theme I built from scratch, and we're using WordPress scripts and Node.js with a nice like GitHub repository, and then we use Deploy HQ, and I can, I stopped doing that though because I kind of like realized like, oh, the market can't pay this much money for this level of development. I started getting into it, and I was like, oh man, like I'm working way too many hours. We're putting way too many hours into this project. Like, how do we speed this up? And then, I went through all the code bases of like Divi, Gutenberg. Well, Gutenberg's in WordPress, and Elementor. And I just decided that like Elementor is definitely the best one out there. Just from a way how it renders the PHP and how it loads and everything. But we do some cool stuff. Like I've built stuff in WordPress where it's like you update this website and it can update a series of like 10 other websites using their REST API and everything.
That's cool. This is definitely, I've enjoyed this. This has been my most technical podcast I've done so far with you.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying talking about it.
Yeah. No, you've been great, Jimmy. I've done a few of these and I'm kind of just like,
well, because it's fascinating. I mean, I just, watching, I was not like first generation of websites with like strictly code. Like I did have the Macromedia Dreamweaver, which was already not probably more than second generation, but just watching where it's gone to right now. I mean, I know there are also, if you were just like wanting a basic site and you ask AI to make one, like it would make something for you. Like it's just crazy to me. Like you could get a basic, it doesn't mean that it's going to show up in the search results well. It doesn't mean or that it's going to look the best, but like just that you could do something just by writing a few prompts.
Yeah, you said it perfectly though. Like it can give you all this stuff. Someone can tell you exactly what to do, but implementing it is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like my friend was like, oh, I can just make a website on AI. I'm like, okay, go ahead. And they made a website and I was like, okay, now how do you get this on the internet? How do you implement it? Like, how do you connect everything together? And they're like, oh, I guess that's like AI just can't really, I guess I could look at the instructions and everything. I was like, yeah, I can tell you how to do it, but that's why I don't really worry about AI too much. Like I had one client saying like, AI is coming for your jobs. And I was like, if you knew what we did, I don't think AI is coming for our jobs, right? Maybe in the next 30 years or 40 years, but I don't think anytime. I'll be long gone, retired after that. So,
yeah. Well, I think even because like we do come from a very creative background. I mean, actually like making the film, editing, shooting, creating the branding and everything. And I still just think a client could use AI and say, come up with a logo for me, but they don't, unless they're very creative people themselves, they don't know what colors they should use. They don't know like what prompts they would even tell it. They'd just be like, I'm in this industry, make me a logo. And it might make something okay, but it's still compared to knowing what they want, knowing what's going to deliver the results. Because at the end of the day, they're looking for results.
Right? Yeah. And the thing is, I'm glad you said that because like we focused on the technical aspect first, and then creative was not an afterthought, but it was like something we've been building on. And when I brought David on, and he is like high end creative, like he asks all those right questions that you're asking right now. It's funny, like when you talk to some clients who don't have any experience in it, but they're like getting into the game. And they're like, oh man, there's actually a lot more to this creative process. And like, this makes a ton of sense. And he's really good at elevating people. And I know our logo, like we just redid our logo and we've probably spent like 2 months solid on it. And my designer, Jeff, he's awesome. He's a man. Like he just, not old school designer, but just really good, like good at those blue collar designs, uses Illustrator, just pumps out awesome designs. We have like design offs with new clients. Like I'll say, hey, like we're going to send this client like 4 homepage proofs for their new website. And then whoever they approve is like gets the project. And it's kind of fun just to see like who wins each design off. It just creates some inner competition because I have such a big sports background. But yeah, like we spent like 2 months on the logo, and he kept on saying like simplicity is like the best part. when it comes to
Right.
a logo, like being simple and like creating it that way. It's great. I've learned a ton. I'm not like I said, I'm a creative person, but I'm not like at their level or anything. I'm
Right.
more creative with tech. I can think of creative ideas with technology.
Right. Well, it's good to
Yeah.
know what your strength is and lean into that, and then bring. I mean, there's plenty of people who are good at everything. So if you can be good at what you're best at, then bring them around you.
Google Ads search campaigns,
Yeah.
bottom of the funnel is where we excel because it's super technical. So that's
Well,
where
and that's good because
yeah.
a lot of people are not very good at that. So
It's hard.
we're getting, gosh, this time's flown today. I always like to ask one question for anybody watching out there who's maybe just getting into marketing. Maybe they're an intern, maybe they're starting their own company. What would be one piece of advice you could give them to help set them on a good path?
So the only piece of advice I know, and it's a piece of advice that helped me, and I know it doesn't help our industry too much, but when I started off, I took every single project I could to get as much experience as possible. And I know kind of because, yeah, I would just say that the more experience you can get, I always say get a job at a marketing agency, learn as much as you can, or get a job doing something, because literally I've learned everything from all the jobs I had. And then when I went off into this field, just doing as many projects as possible, but don't lie about your experience. When I took on my first clients for Google Ads, I just told them like, hey, this is new to me. I've read a few books. I've done some research. You're not going to pay me a lot at all, like at all. There's people who are way better than me at this, and they charge a lot more. And you're more than happy to, you can go with them, but I'm going to do this because this is going to be a learning process for me. And I'm going to get some raw data and learn, how the whole system works and everything like this. That was like 10 years ago, but still,
Right.
that's my piece of advice. But big upfront, don't just say you're an expert in it. Just let them know. And I'm telling you, people, business owners, clients, they'll respect that 100%.
Cool. All right. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining me today. This was an awesome conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Jimmy, likewise, man. This was a blast.
And everybody watching, thanks for watching the What's Working podcast. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.